Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to episode 154 of the Take One Podcast. I'm your host, August C. Jones, and today we got quite a few things to talk about. We're going to be talking about the new Mortal Kombat trailer, some new movie and show news, as well as I'm going to be talking about a new movie that's coming out this weekend. Ooh. And then I'm going to be giving my review on Judas and the Black Messiah. So, hope you guys enjoy the show. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into things. So let's start off with the main topic of the day, which is the new Mortal Kombat trailer that dropped last week. And there is a lot to unpack. I literally broke down this trailer and literally got a lot from it. I actually really enjoyed the trailer. It has some good imagery, some good designs as far as the characters go and everything else. The CG look like it needs to be worked on a little bit more. The movie doesn't come out until I believe April. So they have a little bit more time to tweak the CG or whatever, if that's the case being. But as far as what's inside the trailer, let's go ahead and dive right into it because it's a lot. So first off, we got Jax and Sub-Zero literally meeting up against each other. We got narration from Sonya, who is basically giving information about them tracking Sub-Zero because he's a person of interest in some way or another, that basically to where they cross paths. And you see Jax and Sub-Zero meeting up, where Jax literally shoots at Sub-Zero and he literally freezes it while it's shooting, so you see parts of the bullet coming out, and then Sub-Zero just kind of looks at it like kind of twisted, like he's Michael Myers or whatnot. And so Sub-Zero is in this movie the reason why Jax loses his arms, which I believe originally is Ermac who does it with his telekinetic powers. But then also you got Cole Young, which I'm not even going to get into it within this within this review. But the new character created for the movie, Cole Young, is a person who is marked with the Mortal Kombat dragon symbol, and we are told within the trailer that it's basically an invitation to Mortal Kombat. So I'm curious to see how they do it with all the other participants. And like I said, Sonya all throughout the trailer is literally narrating exposition on everything that we need to know. So Cole more than likely is a person that's representation of the audience, to where when he's getting information, we're getting the information. So more than likely that's his reason. But in any case, the first scene of Scorpion is just dope as hell, as he is in a fight with other people, I guess, that's coming into his home. So he's defending his home, and this is before he's actually become before he actually becomes Sub-Zero. I'm not Sub-Zero, but Scorpion, and he's just Hanzo. And it literally is a gruesome ass meetup. And then you got Raiden and Shang Tsung meeting up, possibly looking like in the same place, either where Jax and Sub-Zero meet at, or it's the same place that Sub-Zero and Scorpion have their fight within the movie or whatnot. And just from this trailer, you can tell that it's bloody, gory, violent, just literally like it should be. Not to the game level, because more than likely that'd be an MC-16, but it's bloody enough, more than what the 1995 movie was. Sonya and Kato are fighting in the desert. Then you get a not so flattering shot. I ain't gonna say flattering, but not so great shot of Raiden and his attire. I don't know, it stood out to me because it looks like cosplay. It's not the best, so I don't know, maybe I'll feel different with a new trailer or once I see the movie. But as far as the look that we got of Raiden and his close-up in this trailer, he just looks like a person that's playing cosplay of Raiden, and not a great cosplay. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And then I do like the look of Jack's arms or whatnot. Also, we got Scorpion being covered in his hellfire, which has a very hard resemblance to his look in the game, and I do like that. That was one of the best shots of the trailer. Then there's a shot of Melina. Actually, you got a few shots. You got her walking, basically you see the back of her just walking in this like wasteland, which is I think is Outworld or something like that. And then you got another scene of her licking her weapon or whatnot, more than likely after a kill. Then you got a statue of Shao Kahn who looks like he just pulled straight from the game. So if this movie carries on to a sequel, I want to see how they come forth with his imagery and who plays him, and if it's going to look exactly like how that statue looked or whatnot. And then you got some creature coming down from the ceiling at the place that Sonya is at. Then you got another shot where, and I'm gonna get into that a little bit later, but you got Liu Kang making a dragon out of fire, and maybe at some point he does an animality fatality, maybe not. I'm hoping to see that. Then you have a shot of Noob Saibot, which at first I thought it could be either Noob Saibot or Smoke, but in looking at the character listings, or the actors under the actor who's playing Sub-Zero, it also gets him listed as Noob Saibot. So more than likely in this movie, not to give any spoilers, but it's in the continuity of the game. More than likely, he dies at some point and comes back as Noob Saibot. But yeah, so we got that, and there is a shot of Goro, all CG, jumping at somebody who looks like it could be Cole Young. Maybe some type of transformation Cole Young has in the thing where his whole torso is covered in like metal or something, some type of gold or whatever, because there's two shots where it looks like he's covered in that. So I don't know. It's not really too much given about his power skills or whatever, or whatever the hell. But that's what it looks like. Also, there is a showdown that we see between Scorpion and Sub-Zero in their full Sub-Zero and Scorpion outfits, just looking badass in the fight, just looking badass. And then I've heard like people talk about the whole "I'm Sub-Zero" sounding kind of corny, which I believe is more of like Scorpion, but like beyond. And then he was like, "No, I am Sub-Zero." That's what I kind of figure what comes from that, the context of that scene, or why he says I am Sub-Zero. So I don't have a problem with that. But Sub-Zero does this cold shit where he cuts Scorpion, and as the blood flies up in the air, he freezes it and kind of like, a sharp piece, brings it down and cuts him. And then he literally makes an ice wall and throws Scorpion through it. And of course, up in there, you're going to have Scorpion's signature "Get over here" as he shoots out his weapon and whatnot. And both of them look like they might be fighting up in Cole's gym, because there's a scene of Cole in a cage fight. But then also where they're fighting at, it looks like there's that cage right there. So at some point or another, we're going to find them in that area or whatnot. And then after the sequence of Shang Tsung screaming fan service, finish him, you got a whole bunch of, it's followed with like a whole bunch of like gory scenes, gory kills and everything else. And then you get to the thing where Kano looks like he is just stabbing, he's like going into the body of some type of lizard creature, maybe reptile, maybe just some random ass creature or whatever, pulls out the heart and says Kano wins and blah blah blah, like in a corny type of fashion, but you can expect that from a character like Kano. But one thing I did notice, that it looks like it's in the same place that Sonya was early on in the trailer. So at some point, Kano finds himself in that same place, and that creature could be the same creature coming down from the ceiling when Sonya, was looking at her board of everything and explaining everything to Cole or whatnot at some point. So more than likely, those two scenes are connected together, as well as you notice that Kano has no metal faceplate up in this movie or whatever, or at least in the trailer. Maybe he gets it in the movie, we don't know, but he doesn't have that. But in one point of the trailer, he does shoot out a laser. So at some point he may end up getting it, or they might just play it off as that's just a power that he has, which I can see that not sitting well with a lot of people. But also, speaking of Kano, there is a shot of him standing with the rest of the good guys, Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Jax or whatnot, and Raiden is like hitting his staff and causing electricity. More than likely, he's teleporting them or showing them something or whatnot. But you see him standing with him, so I feel like they're more than likely going the route of, Kano is, a anti-hero instead of a villain, which that may not sit with a lot of people. So I hope that they do, bring when they wrote, Kano up in this movie, hopefully that they do him justice and make him more like how he's supposed to be, because I don't know if this is gonna work out if he's an anti-hero instead of a just badass villain. And I feel like he is one of the best villains in the Mortal Kombat, like storyline. But also, I looked up in that scene, and you can see Katana's fan is visible within that same scene, and with Katana not being listed, more than likely she's not in this movie or in any type of case. So I don't know, I'm kind of confused off of that, but whatever the case is, maybe there's a good reason why she wasn't up in this movie. And one thing that I did not like about this trailer was that it does show one spoiler about the movie, and it's in the trailer. It is in the trailer. So I'm gonna give it. So if you don't want to hear it, maybe fast forward just some seconds or whatever. But you can clearly see within the last scenes of all the gory stuff after Finish Him happens that Sonya kills Melina by shooting her with some type of blast. And I'm just like, why would they show that? Why would they show that in this trailer? It just really just takes a lot of it away. We know that she does die now, that she doesn't carry on to a next film if there is another film. But in any case, as far as the trailer goes, it did surpass my expectations. I wasn't really looking forward to this movie. It wasn't really too impressed by the cast and character, listing and whatnot. But after seeing this trailer, it got my expectations and my hype level a little bit higher than what it was, because it was just like down here. I wasn't too excited to really see this movie, but it looks like they're doing something good, but it also has a B movie feeling to it. Not really, or I ain't gonna say B movie, but a low budget, straight to VOD type, movie feeling to it. So hopefully it doesn't disappoint. Hopefully it's at least good enough to have some enjoyment. Hopefully this isn't one of those movies where it's like, damn, why did they make this? Because it is a first time director for a, full length feature film. And I hope that, everything is done right. I really do. Because Mortal Kombat, I really do love it. I'm not like one of those big, huge fans of it, but I really do hope that they execute it in a way that it needs to be executed, because I would really love to see more sequels to Mortal Kombat being made and more of the lore being put out and whatever. Just no more crazy new characters like Cole Young. Just pull the characters from what we got, and that's it. But in any case, that ends the main topic. So let's go ahead and jump right into the news feed. And so the first thing in the news feed is Rian Johnson, the guy that's responsible for the The Last Jedi. I almost forgot, about to say Rise of Skywalker, but The Last Jedi was set to do a trilogy right after Episode 9, and his trilogy was supposed to be the first thing of Star Wars that we're supposed to see or whatever. Certain things happened with it, but recently it came out that the trilogy is still happening, even though it may be pushed down later on down the pipeline. But apparently it's still going on. Now, we only got so much coming from it, because after a while it was like, okay, it's coming out, this is going to be the first thing of Star Wars that we see coming out of that, besides the Mandalorian and whatnot, as far as the full length feature films. And then after that, wasn't no updates, wasn't anything said about it. Then we got word about Patty Jenkins was going to be, I believe, the first Star Wars movie we were going to see after Episode 9. And then Taika Waititi coming out with his Star Wars movie and blah, blah, blah. So it was like, the question was up in the air. It was like, what happened? Like, is Rian Johnson still doing his Star Wars films? Like, what's really good? What's really good? So we basically heard about this back in 2017. It's 2021 right now, and we're just now hearing just a little thing of it or whatnot. And in a interview with author Soraya Wilson, uh, there she basically put it out there saying that it's still happening, but really there is no date or timeline as to like what it's about, when it's gonna be out, or anything like that. But it's due the delay is due to him working on other projects. So he's still developing, he's still working it out, but we probably won't see it for a while. And I guess more than likely it was just kind of delayed just because of that. But maybe that's the story because of just the reception of episode 8. Maybe, I don't know. But I mean, apparently it's still working because we didn't hear anything about it in the Investors Day with Disney when they was making their big announcement about all the Star Wars, Marvel, and everything else that they're going to be doing for Disney Plus everything in the theaters. Like I said, the one thing we did hear about as far as Star Wars, not just the shows, but as far as the movies, was the Patty Jenkins movie, Rogue Squadron, and then Taika Waititi's, Star Wars film. But really, we didn't hear anything about Rian Johnson, so it was like, is this still happening? So apparently, it may still end up happening, maybe not. It's still kind of up in there, still kind of 50-50. There's no big information that has came out about the film or anything else. Disney hasn't really talked about it. No rep from Disney or Lucasfilm has came out and talked about it, about anything regarding that. And this is the first time that we've heard about it in a while. So I mean, it's still up in the air. Maybe it's happening. Maybe that was just a way for him to, let people know that, like, it still may happen instead of saying the word maybe. And maybe it may not end up coming out. Maybe it will. Who knows? But if it does, I am looking forward to it. I know a lot of people get him flack on, Last Jedi. It wasn't one of my particular best or, favorite Star Wars films. But I feel like given his own vision and him to craft out a story through a trilogy, I feel like he can do it great. Because if you've seen Knives Out, then you know that he is a great filmmaker. And I would love to see a trilogy of Star Wars just straight coming from Rian Johnson. Because I feel like if we follow his own vision and he's not playing off of somebody else and you just let him do his own thing, we probably could have some great films. But as far as that go, we have really no word about anything that he's doing as far as Star Wars. Just little bits of information. But as the information comes out, I'll report it or whatnot. But as far as it goes right now, it's not that much. And so going into the second part of the news feed, we have one other thing, and it is a live-action Wednesday Addams series that is coming to Netflix. Now, this is intriguing, only for the simple fact that, I mean, a lot of y'all might not be that enthralled or just really care about the Addams family, but just the description of this series seemed like it may end up being something special. So, it is going to be directed by Tim Burton. And this is going to be his first live action series and basically his first his directorial TV debut. And it's kind of exciting. I'm a big fan of a lot of Tim Burton's work. It's going to be 8 episodes long, and this, of course, is going to be a supernatural type of mystery or whatnot. And it's going to take place at a academy called Nevermore Academy, and it's basically giving a little bit more insight to just Wednesday Addams as a character, of course. And, with her trying to master her psychic ability and her helping a local town who's being terrorized by some type of monster or entity or whatever that's going on a killing spree, as well as we're learning more about, her parents as it's, she's solving a supernatural mystery that embroiled her family or her parents for 25 years, or, 25 years ago. And also, of course, you're going to have the love type stuff where, tangled relationships and blah, blah, blah. And just trying to, navigate through that and everything else. And that, to me, it sounds really interesting. To the fact that they would take a person like Wednesday Addams, which out of her and Pugsley, Wednesday will probably be more of like the character to go with or whatnot. But I'm kind of curious to see this show. I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about. I'm kind of curious to see a trailer because there hasn't been really no announcement of a trailer, nor has there been like any announcement of any type of release date for this series and when it's coming out. So more than likely, I don't know. Maybe it may end up coming out this year because they already have a poster for it. They already got a poster for it, and more than likely they're already shooting it and whatnot. But I'm very curious just to read like the synopsis of this film or synopsis of this series and trying to see where they go with it. Like, Tim Burton is a great filmmaker. I mean, he does has his own little style, but it fits within like the style of the Addams family. So I'm very curious to see what he has to offer when it comes to this property and everything else as far as this show. And yeah, I mean, there's really not too much given about this series or whatnot, but as a trailer come out, release date come out, of course I'm going to be checking for it, and hopefully this series ends up being something special, being something really good, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And yeah, that's really about it. So that ends the news feed. So let's go ahead and talk about what new movies is coming out this weekend. All right, and so we only really have one new movie that's coming out this weekend, and it's doing the hybrid release, being on HBO Max as well as in theaters at the same time, which is the Tom and Jerry movie. And honestly, I'm not looking forward to this movie. I'm not looking forward, but I will go see it because I'm going to go take my son, and of course, I want to do a review on it because I may end up loving this film. I may end up really, really loving it, or really, really liking it, or just even liking it. I don't know, but I'm willing to check it out. But I'm definitely going to go take my son to go see it because he may end up liking it more than I do. And if he does, it makes it well worth it. But yeah, it's just, I'm not really that extremely crazy over Tom and Jerry just at all. I mean, I've watched the shows, when I was younger and everything else, especially Tom and Jerry Kids or whatnot. But it's just I wasn't too crazy over Tom and Jerry, and it just got the question of like, why is it a hybrid? Like, why is it doing the same thing that Who Framed Roger Rabbit did, or what's the Smurfs and everything else? Why couldn't it just be a straight animated film? Like, I don't know. Like, I have these qualms with it, but it's like I may end up liking it. I don't know. But I am looking forward to seeing Chloe Moretz because she is just all around sexy. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to seeing this movie, is just seeing her, because just all around. But it looks to have the same humor that the show did, the slapstick humor and everything else. So a lot of it hopefully may work, if not all of it. I just hope that I get some type of enjoyment out of it. But you can really tell that it was made for kids, even though it does has a nostalgic feel for the adults and everything else. So I guess you could say it got something for everybody. It does come out this weekend, February 26th. And like I said, in the hybrid in theaters as well as HBO Max. So if you still don't feel comfortable with seeing it in theaters, you can just, if you have HBO Max, just cut it on there, and then you'll be able to chill and watch it at home with your kids. And but yeah, as far as this goes, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I hope that is good. I hope I find some enjoyment out of it. If I don't, it's not because I'm just biased and I don't want to like it. It's because, more than likely it just wasn't really meant for me. It was just meant for my son. Like I said, if he finds some enjoyment out of it, then hey, all is good with the world. But that is all the movies that is coming out this weekend. So let's go ahead and wrap this podcast up and jump right into reviews. And so with only one review to review for this podcast, it is a doozy. So we have Judas and the Black Messiah, which is revolving around the real life events surrounding Fred Hampton and his death and everything else. And it's just about an informant who is put into the Black Panthers to inform on Fred Hampton, and kind of like situation to bring him down from just the level that he's at, being a major influence in the black community, in which at the time, you know, the government and everybody else was not having it. And it is, like I said, is based off of true events. And this being one of my most anticipated films of 2021, which I still gonna put out that video, I was expecting great performances, especially with talents like, you know, Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya. I was hoping that I wasn't gonna get let down, and truly to like even say like I wasn't let down. Like Kaluuya gives an awesome performance as Fred Hampton. He really just embodies him, and he nails his accent. Like if you put his acting and how he says stuff against the real Fred Hampton, he literally nails it and all of his likeliness, and he literally transforms into Hampton in this movie. And I really did appreciate that, especially when you know you have an actor that can just disappear into the role. And Stanfield delivers a great performance as well. And it makes him and Kaluuya one of the best reasons to even like just why this film works so great. I mean, and the great acting, you know that it's great acting in a movie when you want to see the actors act out these characters all day, and I can literally see them act out these characters all day, especially Daniel Kaluuya, who did, like I said, an awesome job in his performance. This movie has an awesome title. It has one of those titles that just literally fits the narrative of what the movie is all about. And there is great performances all around. Don't get it twisted. I'm not just giving them praise and just them alone. Everybody that's surrounded, all the supporting characters did a great job as well. But regarding back to the title, it literally just before going into it, I already knew that it would more than likely focus on the Judas part than the Black Messiah part. And I wasn't wrong about it. So I really wasn't disappointed about the whole thing or whatnot. The amount of screen time that, you know, each character had and anything else. I wasn't really, you know, let down by it just by how it differed. And even though it wasn't the same amount of screen time for both characters, it's still, I had a great sense of how important Hampton was to the black community during his time that he was alive, and how he did a lot for the black community, not only just for the blacks and trying to unite all the black people, but just trying to unite other ethnic groups as well. And it just shows what type of person he was, just to not even look out for his people, but other people that may be feeling like they're oppressed or whatever, or, you know, just feeling as low as black people were around that time and even now. And it's just crazy when you look at how the FBI viewed Hampton and wanted to just get rid of him, and their plan to just go at him to the point where they would put they would basically put one person, maybe several people up in there to try to take down Fred Hampton and just make it look like it's not the police going after him, even though clearly you already knew that the government, the police force, and all this stuff wanted to take him down. It's honestly just real crazy, especially when they lay out their plan. It's just like it's sad to see something like that somebody will, you know, a group of people will want somebody like that taken down, and just how they viewed him. It's crazy. But speaking of the FBI, there's an FBI agent in this movie who just has such a punchable face. Like, it's no offense to the actor, but I definitely just wanted to punch him in the face. And it's mainly kind of due to like just the character that he played. He wasn't the worst of the worst, but he didn't have great intentions in what he was doing at that. But one of the things that stood out to me in the beginning scene was Lakeith's character, William. Face was covered during the scene until it wasn't. And I was like, why would they hide it when you can clearly tell that it is him? Which it just kind of like stood out to me and just kind of like seemed kind of off. But that was just like a little nitpick, anything. But the last sequence and how it all went down was just crazy as hell. And how they all just set it up just to trying to get rid of Hampton. But at the same time, it does keep your attention. It does spark up a lot of emotions as far as that moment, even just throughout the rest of the film. But I mean, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, you may feel a certain type of way during the last like 15 minutes of the film or whatnot. So at the end of the day, this is an incredible film, and it is a must-see film at that. It's very powerful in its message and with the subject matter that it has. And even though a lot of seriousness is done within this movie, it does have a lot of lighthearted moments, as well as good humor in the midst of just everything that's going on. And even if you don't see this movie for the historical, relevance or whatever, or just the historical aspect of it, you can definitely enjoy the performances of the main leads, Kaluuya and Stanfield, and just everything that they bring to the table, because they do, like I said, an awesome job in their performances. And I feel like it's worth your time. It's worth your time and or money if you haven't got HBO Max and you're just doing it just to check out this, or you just go see it in theaters because it's one of those hybrid movies, just like Tom and Jerry. But it's one of those hybrid movies where you can see it on HBO Max at least for a little bit of time or whatever, or you can just see it in theaters. So if you're asking me, I'll say if you're not too skittish about going to the movie theaters, check it out in theaters. You won't be disappointed. You definitely will not be disappointed. But with that said, that wraps up this podcast. I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. And if you like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. Leave a comment. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified for everything that drops on my channel. And with that said, I will catch you guys on the next one. So peace out. Tell your friends and all that stuff. The usual.